The comments kept rolling in faster than I could read them. My phone screen burned with laughter and jeers lit by people I'd known all my life. The video had been posted by my cousin Jeremy, my cousin for God's sake, after I'd told the family about my dream. It started with me standing at the head of the table at my father's 60th birthday, my hands shaking so hard I pressed them to my jeans. I tried to describe my plan. A prototype for an autonomous wheelchair that climbed stairs, moved across uneven surfaces, created for the kind of people who'd spent too long trapped, physically and mentally. I'd begged, not theatrically but still embarrassingly, for help. A little space in Uncle Vlad's pizza shop for after-hours work, second-hand parts, patience from the ones who'd have to see me come up for air less often. Instead, Jeremy clipped the worst moment. My voice cracked mid-sentence, my father's sharp sigh echoing as I fumbled with a drawing. In the video, the room blurs around me, faces twisting from boredom to barely disguised smirks. The internet didn't care I was almost 30, out of work, scraping by on freelance code and delivery apps. They just saw the robot wheelchair guy blathering about machine learning and mobility for everyone in a bad haircut and a fraying Giants hoodie. The comments, bro really thinks he's Iron Man with cardboard, invent the future, live in your parents' basement classic, NYC is wild man. I didn't watch it twice, I'd already lived it. My world narrowed after that. I stopped greeting the neighbors who crowded the stoop for Saturday morning bagels. I ducked behind displays at Balducci's so Mrs. Bianchi wouldn't ask, "How's your little robot coming?" For months, every walk to the bodega felt like threading a gauntlet, smirks from kids, pitying glances from old friends. Even my sister Anna wouldn't meet my eyes when Dad's voice turned hard in the kitchen. "Lev, get a job, any job." I'd grown up in Brooklyn. I could drift through noise, bob and weave with the city's pulse, but inside it felt different. Anger coiled tight in my chest. Sometimes I imagined firing off perfect lines at everyone, at Jeremy for laughing, at my mother for sending silent, unreadable texts, at the whole block for never seeing anything but the next week's rent or next game on TV. Other times I felt an eerie calm, some survivalist serenity. I put on headphones, turned up the static, dove into YouTube tutorials, university lectures, open source forums. My nights blurred into mornings while I typed code in the blue glow of a second-hand monitor, soldered joints in my closet so thin the burnt flux strung my nose for days. There was no money, just part-time rideshare gigs and occasional gigs building websites for realtors or small restaurants. Sometimes, as I strained my eyes under the city's sodium orange street lamps, I thought about walking away. Find an office at least, maybe slouch into some remote work, let the dream fade, but I couldn't. The serenity was always strongest when I worked on the thing, when my hands shaped plastic or tweaked a line of code, and the wheels on the workbench jerked to life, lurching just an inch further than last time. Here in these harsh, lonely hours, belief flickered again, stubborn and hot, as if it could withstand anything. 3 years passed, I lost count of prototypes, ROM and packs stacked empty in the trash. My desk became a sea of wires, batteries, hand-printed circuit boards. My mother called sometimes, her voice low to keep my father's suspicions down. Anna slipped me leftovers, called them errands. I worked at a bar near Canal, never telling anyone about the project. Sometimes, after closing, I'd let my fingers brush the cool metal of my latest prototype, wishing, against all logic, that someone saw what I saw. The sereneness, the certainty, mostly kept the anger manageable. But I couldn't outrun the city forever. I met Hector at the bar. He'd seen me sketching code on napkins, asked, "What you building, man? Looks wild." For the first time in months, I told someone the truth about the wheelchair, about wanting to make mobility beautiful and easy, not just possible. Instead of laughing, he nodded. My cousin would give up a paycheck for something that get her out without her brother lifting her every stoop. You need parts. The world cracked open a little. Hector brought me broken Roombas and laptop chargers. I stopped hiding the schematics crammed in my jacket. Word got out slowly, softly at the bar. People started dropping extra junk for Lev's robot. I tinkered between shifts, and Hector's cousin Maria became my first tester. Rolling over cracked concrete in Red Hook, always telling me, "Less bounce, more break." Success was measured in centimeters, in fewer curses sucked between Maria's teeth as she hit an uneven curb. Every once in a while the old jokes flashed across my mind, robot cookies, transformer nightmares. In the quiet of my apartment, anger simmered, but it was quieter, dwarfed by determination. Then it happened. Maria's physical therapist connected me to a startup event. I arrived at WeWork in borrowed shoes and a jacket that still smelled faintly of burnt solder. In a sea of suits and nervous energy, I set my prototype on its stout wheels beside a table littered with glossy flyers. While engineers from Stanford poured designer lattes and spouted synergy, Maria took her place in the chair and wheeled toward a mock stoop built for the contest. She climbed it, slow and jerky, then surer, up and over while dozens watched in shocked silence. For the first time, I didn't feel panic at their attention, only an eerie stillness. Investor cards followed, my email pinged for days. We loved your pitch. I have questions about sensors. These people saw what I saw. They asked about manufacturing costs and open-source hardware. I didn't move to Palo Alto or Chicago, but I did get enough money to move out of my parents' shrunken shadow. Those first weeks were a blur, co-founders. Patent lawyers, late-night ramen turned into ramen with engineers from MIT instead of by myself. Each new round of testing, Maria and friends from rehab centers laughed at my ugly prototypes, but with affection this time. Looks terrible, rides great, you're a keeper, Lev. A year later, we launched City Mobility Solutions, a real office, bank loans, contracts for clinics, and ever-growing backlog. I was grateful and exhausted, but nowhere near done. That's when my father, who never called, started ringing every Sunday, not for advice, just silence or veiled pride. Anna sent screen grabs of posts. Brooklyn inventor launches all-terrain wheelchair. It felt confusing, anger still flickered, but it was numb, almost quaint compared to the stress of real production. One day, out of nowhere, Jeremy texted, "Grandma needs you. Dad's birthday, be there." I almost didn't go. The cafe I'd reserved for Maria's introduction to new testers felt safer, saner, 1,000 little reasons to say maybe next week, but my mother left a voicemail. "It would mean a great deal if you came, Lev." So I did. Their faces, the family, neighbors, 2 entire generations squeezed into Vlad's pizza shop, barely changed as I pushed through the door. My father's brow furrowed in permanent disappointment. Jeremy lounged with a beer, his wife's head on his shoulder. Most eyes darted past me, unsure, waiting for permission to scoff. I tried to hang back. My hands found the familiar rhythm of childhood, pick at the side seam of my jeans, count the sticky tiles underfoot. Anna slipped beside me. "You okay?" she whispered. I nodded, not trusting my voice. Presents came out, shirts, a whiskey collection, scratch-offs. Someone made the first dig. "Lev, what are you up to these days?" Laughter shimmered underneath the question. Winking, I cleared my throat. "Actually, my company's doing okay. We went citywide." Maury laughed softer, something unsure now. Right as I found my nerve, my mother called. "Lev, did you bring it?" Everyone craned. She meant the latest prototype, clunky and beautiful, sitting in my trunk. For the first time, I saw hope in her hands, talcum powder creased skin, urgent if silent. The air thickened. "Jeremy, you mean the robot thing?" Mockery, yes, but something else too, a question now. I could have left then, dismissed them. My anger almost wanted it, let them stew in ancient certainty, but serenity again. I wasn't that hungry, hurting kid anymore. Instead, I walked to the car, hands steady. When I wheeled the new unit inside, silence fell hard. The soft click of motors, polished aluminum glinting, caught everyone off guard. "Looks like something from NASA," muttered Vlad. Maria had agreed to join to show it off. She rolled up to the shop sidewalk in her own chair and grinned. "Let them see what it can do." I lifted her easily, familiar now, muscles remembering, and eased her into the seat. I powered it on, LEDs blinked. The neighborhood stoop stared at us from the curb, a worn challenge. Maria gripped the controls and steered up to the threshold smoothly, the hum of servos rising. She cleared the 3 steep steps, adjusted, and rotated atop the landing. Everyone inside squinted at the phones clutched in their hands, trying to film to make sense of it. "Watch the next part," I said quietly. She reversed, descended. No bumps, no stuttering. My uncle's mouth hung open. Dad leaned back, saying nothing. Jeremy, always the loudest, broke the stillness. "Do it again, Maria, was that you didn't even flinch?" Maria winked. "It's not perfect, but it works. I live on the 5th floor, no elevator, remember." Could never do it before, she met Jeremy's eyes. "This chair, this man here built it. I had a say in everything, even the cup holder." My father moved closer. Maybe for the first time in years, his voice was gentle. "You mean this is yours, Lev, not someone else's?" My throat closed up, but I forced myself to look at each of them. The men who'd whispered that I was wasting my brains on fantasy. My mother, proud but terrified. My sister beaming through tears. Mine, I said. Ours, now it's in clinics, schools, my team, 25 people, we're helping. There was no applause, this wasn't a movie. Instead, the room buzzed with a low hum of curiosity, eyes transformed from skepticism to something in between awe and shame. Anna was first to clap, but the others followed hesitant until it filled the little shop. What mattered more was the silence that came after. Later, as the kids played with Maria, steering the chair up and down the stoop in giddy flashes, my father came to stand by my side. His hand, undaunted, big, scarred from decades of fixing broken stoves and battered car engines, rested on my shoulder. I was wrong, he whispered, barely audible. I felt anger give way, not like a dam breaking but a slow, warm tide. Serenity filled its place, real and heavy. The shop, the block, New York, nothing changed overnight, but everything did in a way that meant I could breathe again. A week later, a new video made the rounds, not viral, just enough. Maria climbing the stoop, my father watching with the same face he wore when he taught me to ride a bike, hopeful, open, unashamed. The laughter was gone this time. In its place, good-natured ribbing and more than a little pride. Back home, I found my rhythm again. Work, late-night engineering, city lights flickering past my window. The anger was gone, replaced by a deep, unshakable peace, the kind that stays with you. I understood finally that the serenity wasn't what happened after I won. It was what kept me alive enough to keep going, long after everyone stopped believing. It was the sound of wheels on stone, climbing, always climbing.